In the world of Mujina Into the Deep, society is divided into a system with two distinct types of people. The first type of person is like the majority of citizens. These citizens are recognized by society, and thus they are granted basically all the human rights you could come to expect from any well-functioning society, contingent on the fact that they keep their human rights card on them. Yes, in this world you need a human rights card to access your human rights. That's crazy, bro. But those people who, for whatever reason, don't have a human rights card fall into the second type of people, the Mujina. Now there's a lot of nuances and like intricacies that come with being a Mujina, and we're definitely going to get into all those later, but for the time being, all you need to know is that a Mujina is a person that is not granted human rights. We cut to the first fucking panel of the manga damn near, and it's literally just this random dude getting topped off in his office. So he's sitting in his office, right? He's over there getting hit with the 𝙏𝙖𝙡𝙠 3000 when suddenly he gets a phone call. He picks it up, right? And it's one of his subordinates on the other end. His subordinate is like, hey, bruh, I got this female Mujina that's on my ass right now. Like, I'm gonna need you to slide with the reinforcements. The dude is like, oh, word? Okay, is it like this chick with the bob cut and bright highlights? And the dude on the other end is like, hell yeah, bruh. The boss is like, okay, I know who's chasing after you, bruh. Like, I got you, bruh. I'm gonna be out there in a second. Just don't die yet, please. And he injects himself with like this mysterious needle looking thing. We cut to the dude who was on the other end of the phone, and bro was on skates, right? Like, he's running for his goddamn life. He turns around to look behind him, and for a second he thinks he's safe, but when he turns back around again, he finds himself looking eye to eye with the Mujina that was just chasing after him. Bro doesn't even have time to process what he's looking at before he's getting slashed across the trachea, and yeah, rest in peace to bro. Now, I guess this dude's homie was watching this whole ordeal go down, because the homie actually tries to slide through and catch the Mujina lady lacking with the sneak attack, but the Mujina lady is like, nah bro, I'm too saucy for that, and she hits a side flip over this man's head before proceeding to slice his ass clean down the back meat like he's a Thanksgiving turkey or something, bro. Now at this point, right, the dude who was getting top pulls up and he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, chief. He's looking at the Mujina, right? And he's like, he's holding his katana and he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, chief. I can't have you out here doing my subordinates dirty like this. The Mujina lady looks back at him and they're both like standing on this rooftop, right? Now come to find out, both of these two are Mujina. Now, okay, not all Mujina are assassins, all right? But like I said before, we're gonna talk about all the intricacies of Mujina culture later. All you need to know for the time being is that we're dealing with an assassin versus assassin squabble. Mr. Top Getter runs up on the Mujina chick and he tries to like slice her from behind, right? Because her back is facing him. But the Mujina lady hits a no-look parry on his attack and then proceeds to flip over him before turning around and slicing his arm clean off his body. Now the Top Getter is like, he sees his arm flying through the air and he's like, oh hell nah, bro. I do not want this type of smoke right now. And so he starts to like run away, bro. Like, he's on skates. He uses like these futuristic super boosts to jump from the roof that they're fighting on over to another building that's like 20 meters or so away. But the Mujina chick, she stays hot in his pursuit, bro, and so she uses her own pair of super boots to clear the same amount of space as she's chasing after him. As the Mujina lady is flying through the air, we get a look at this girl who's on the ground watching her, and yeah, this girl ends up playing a pretty important role later in the story, but for now, all I'm gonna say is pray for this girl, bro. Pray for her because she's in hot water right now and she doesn't even know it, but more on her later though. The Mujina lady lands on the wall and she starts chasing Mr. Headgetter up the wall. They're both like kind of Spider-Manning on this wall thanks to their super boots. Now at this point, Mr. Headgetter is starting to panic, right? He looks back at his pursuer and he's like, yo, like, you're forcing it right now. Like, can you leave me alone, bro? But the Mujina chick, she isn't trying to hear none of that right now, bro. And so she like chases him to the edge of the building, which in turn forces him to fall off the building and land directly in between two active subway trains. Now these two subway trains, they have Mr. Top Getter cornered, right? Like, he's sandwiched in between these two subway trains with like the Mujina lady standing right in front of him. Seeing that there's basically nowhere to run at this point, the Mujina dude basically switches up his whole energy, bro. Like, he starts trying to bargain. He's like, all right, you got me, bro. I'm unarmed. How about we talk this one out? The Mujina lady looks at the dude, right? Her sword is still pointing at him and he's like, hey, look, I heard you're on the hunt for somebody. I might be able to give you a little tippy tip if you know what I'm saying, just let your boy slide for the one time. The Mujina lady's still staring at him, right? Like, he has this little smirk on his face now. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, the Mujina lady just stabs bro clean through the dome ski. No hesitation. The Mujina man falls to the ground, dead as hell, bro. And like, come to find out, he secretly had a hidden blade in his hand that he planned on using to sneak attack the Mujina lady. Mujina lady was too saucy for them weak ass tactics though, and so she looks down at his corpse and she's like, hey bro, you should have just given up while you had the chance. And then she proceeds to spit on his corpse and all right, it's like, nah, bro. But me personally, if I was Mujina lady, bro, I would have done some petty shit like that, bro. Because why are you gonna try to sneak attack me with a knife when I'm already like not killing? Like, come on, bro, you just really not thinking right now. We cut to an office building, right? And inside this office building, we've got a couple of workers just having like some midday chit chat as they go about their workday. Now, the boss of this office is a middle-aged dude, right? His name is 𝙏𝙖𝙡𝙠. Is his name actually 𝙏𝙏𝙡? No. Are we going to be referring to bro as 𝙏𝙏𝙡 for the remainder of this series? Absolutely, bro. Here's the thing, bro. Every single series that I cover on this channel, you may have noticed this by now, but every single series is going to have at least one 𝙏𝙏𝙡. And for the time being, all right, in the Mujina verse, my homie Morgan Tarumi, that's his name. His name is Morgan. He's 𝙏𝙏𝙡, bro. That's big 𝙏𝙏𝙡, bro. But 𝙏𝙏𝙡 is over here, right? And he's looking at like this Idol magazine, and on the front cover of the magazine is this up-and-coming Mujina influencer named Tenko. Now 𝙏𝙏𝙡 sees Tenko on the cover of this magazine and he's like, he starts going boomer mode, bro. He's like, man, kids these days, bro, like no way this new generation is out here looking up to Mujina. And one of his employees, this younger chick, she's probably about, I don't know, probably in like her 20s or something, about my age, but she looks at her boss and she's like, hey boss, like that's pretty discriminatory of you, bro. Like, you know, some people are forced to become Mujina out of hardship, like they have no choice but to sell their rights away. And the boss is like, bro, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit, bro. Like, if they don't want to be a part of society, then why should I give a fuck about them? And now at this point, okay, 𝙏𝙏𝙡𝙡 actually gives us some pretty interesting exposition on Mujina, and so let me explain to y'all what he reveals, because it actually ends up being some pretty important context in regards to like the nuance of Mujina and just the overall world building of this story. Basically, the thing about Mujina is that because they're not recognized as humans by society, they also don't have to play by society's rules. So like, they're unable to be tried by the laws of society. And so what you end up with is people who will purposely sell their rights away so that they can do basically whatever they want, as long as they're not caught and as long as they're not bothering the niggas with rights. So yeah, 𝙏𝙏𝙡𝙡 is pretty firmly anti-Mujina, bro. Like, he's not rocking with a lot of the younger generation's ideals regarding one, Mujina, but also just like life in general. We cut to a few hours later and 𝙏𝙏𝙡𝙡 is still grumpy, bro. But now, instead of being grumpy at work, he's grumpy while he's having child visitation hours with his son. Now, I can't even lie to y'all, bro. This next part made me low-key feel bad for 𝙏𝙏𝙡𝙀, bro, because he's over here, he's trying to be a good pops to his son, right? He got them like this little food spread, pizza and ramen, which I'm not gonna lie is a vicious combo, by the way. I know them guts is finna be kicking tonight, but anywho, he got them the food, and then like on top of that, he bought his son like this premium sample game that hadn't been released to the public yet, since 𝙏𝙏𝙡𝙀 works at a game development studio, and so he has access to that type of stuff. But yeah, 𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙡 was doing all this shit for his son, right? And then out of nowhere, his son just decides to ruin the vibes, bro. He's like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, pops. Mom is telling me that I shouldn't visit you anymore since like she's trying to marry her new boyfriend. And 𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙀, he's taken aback. He's like, bro, what? And the son's like, yeah. And then 𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙀's like, well, you're not gonna listen to her, right? Like, you're still gonna visit. And the son, he just, you know, he hasn't really decided how to deal with the situation yet. And I mean, which is fair, to be honest. Bro is like 13 years old. But cut forward to a few hours later, and it's evening time, right? Now, at this point, 𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙀's day has been thoroughly ruined, bro. And so he actually ends up deciding to, I'm not gonna lie, he ends up deciding to buy himself some cheeks. Now obviously I can't talk about 𝙏𝙀𝙀𝙀's cheeks gittery in this video because I mean, it's YouTube, and like, come on now, bro. Like, why are you even worried about what another man got going on anyway, bro? Like, you're really weird for that, bro. But after he's done with that engagement, I guess the post-nut clarity starts to get to him, right? Because he's walking home and he's just thinking on like some existential shit. He's like, bro, what even is life? He looks up to the sky, and as he does so, he just so happens to catch a glimpse of this Mujina lady sitting on the windowsill of a building. And upon closer inspection, he notices that the lady that he's looking at is the same idol that he saw on the magazine earlier. He's like, yo, like, is that Tenko the Mujina? But before he can get a good look at her, Tenko leaps off into the distance with her super boots, and like, yeah, she's off to do Mujina things, I guess. We cut to the next day, and now we're in the POV of Tenko the Mujina. She's on like this rooftop, right? And she's doing like this photo shoot for her social media, I guess, since along with being an idol, she's also like a e-girl TikTok influencer as well. But after she does this photo shoot, she jumps off the building, and then we cut back to 𝙏𝙖𝙡, who's in the office right now, and he actually happens to be watching one of Tinko's TikToks on his phone. Now, the younger chick from yesterday, the one that was all like, you know, rah rah mujina, the one that works under 𝙏𝙡𝙡, she hears Tinko coming out of his phone, and like, I'ma just let y'all know right now, this chick is an absolute Tinko stan. Younger chick basically goes on like a 3-page yap session about Tinko, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to read all that, and so like, I'm just gonna skip to the part where Tinko goes live on TikTok and the younger chick literally starts tweaking, bro. She's like, oh my god, bro, Tinko just went live, like, I gotta drop a dono, bro, which speaking of dropping donos to your favorite influencer, but nah, I just opened up memberships on the channel for those of y'all who might be interested in checking them out. Yeah, consider looking into it if you want to help the channel out, slide the channel a little bit of extra support, or don't, it's up to you. If you decide not to, watch your back for the mujina I'm finna send for you. But yeah, Stan Girl then proceeds to leave work while on the clock to go watch Tinko live stream, and yeah, as she's walking out the room, we see like she has this little Liberty tattoo on the back of her neck, and so yeah, bro, I think Shorty is really about that Tinko stan life, bro. 𝙏𝙡𝙡, on the other hand, he's seeing this, and I'm not gonna lie, he starts stressing, bro. Like, they got deadlines to meet, bro. They don't know if they're gonna get their game out in time. And so he decides to like go up to the roof of the building to let off some steam, get some fresh air, have another existential crisis. But while he's up there, his body gives out due to stress, and he passes out and falls backwards onto the roof. Cut to that night, and alright, remember the girl from like the beginning of the video, the one who I said was in hot water? Right, so she's being trafficked right now. Basically, this girl ran away from home, right? And long story short, the dude who she met online who helped her run away, yeah, he was actually in the business of stealing runaway kids' cards and forcing them to do mujina labor. Surprise, surprise, and you met on Discord, bruh, has nefarious ideals. Now this girl, she doesn't know what's going on yet, right? Like, she's naive as hell, and so when her bosses tell her that she's going to be meeting with a famous rock star in a hotel, she's just more confused than anything else. Now I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro, old girl was about this close to having her life forever altered and going down an entirely different path, right? But luckily, at the last moment, a mujina comes crashing through the window. And this isn't just any old mujina, by the way. It's actually Tinko, the mujina idol. Now Tinko lands inside the hotel room that they're in, and she's like, oh hell nah, bro, like the do you weird ass niggas got going on in here? And I'm sitting here reading this, right? And I'm like, all right, bro, like big Tinko, bro, like is she a mujina vigilante or something? Like does she be fighting for peace and justice or some shit? Like, do I need to be a Tinko stan, bro? Do I need to get a tattoo on the back of the, all right, that's tweaking, that's glazed. But nah, bro, let me just let y'all know right now, shit is never that optimistic in the mujina world, bro. And so let me explain to y'all what's actually really going on right now. Basically, this rock star is about to get exposed, right? He's had years and years probably of nefarious activity, and there's an article being published in a couple days that's basically bringing to light all the devious deeds of him and his manager. Now the record label, the one that employs both the rock star and the manager, they're not trying to deal with all that, bro. They're not trying to deal with the bad press and the potential legal fees, and so what they did is essentially hire a mujina assassin to kill the manager before any of the allegations could come out. And the mujina that they hired to get the job done just so happened to be Tinko. So no, bro, no superhero Tinko. She's just chasing a bag, among other things, which we'll get into in a second. So Tinko's over here about to kill the manager, right? About to plunge her katana clean through his chest meat, as he deserves, to be fair, but the manager came prepared, bro, and so he calls out the mujina that he hired as a bodyguard, and from around the corner comes the bob cut mujina from earlier. Tinko sees the bob cut mujina right as she's about to attack her, and she reacts just quick enough to parry the blow. Now, okay, let's talk about Tinko, because in fact, let's sit back. This might be one of those moments, bruh. Yeah, this might be one of those talks. So, the thing about Tinko is that Tinko really enjoys bloodshed, bro. Like, she enjoys squabbles, she enjoys bloodshed, it arouses her, bro. All right, there, I said it. So when Tinko realizes that she now has the opportunity to run a squabble with a skilled mujina, she gets excited, bro. She gets a little You know what I'm saying? She gets a little turned on. Tenko then proceeds to flip into the sky over the bob cut Mujina's head, and she bounces backwards so that she has a few meters of distance between herself and the other Mujina. So these two Mujina are looking at each other, right? And Tenko's like, oh shit, another female Mujina? And then she gets a closer look at the bob cut Mujina, and she's like, wait, hold up. I know about you. You're 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠. And like, yeah, bro, apparently bob cut Mujina's name holds some weight on these Mujina streets. Like, niggas know about 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠, bro. They know about the quote-unquote invincible veteran assassin. So Tenko and 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 are squaring off with each other, right? They're like giving each other the stare down. Now Tenko, she starts talking shit, bro. She's like, I'm not gonna lie, grandma. Because 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 is mad old compared to Tenko, bro. She's like 30. I think Tenko's probably like, I don't know, 22 or something. But Tenko's like, I'm not gonna lie, grandma, you look absolutely crazy being a bodyguard for EDP in them. And mind you, the little teenage girl is still here in the room, bro. Like, she's here watching this whole confrontation go down. 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 charges at Tenko though. She's like trying to hit her with a speed blitz, but Tenko, I'm not gonna lie, Tenko is low-key like that too. And so Tenko dodges the blitz by jumping over 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠, and she counters it with the swing of her own katana. 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 weaves the counterattack by hitting like this barrel roll, and as she's rolling out the way, Tenko activates her super boots, and she uses them to like stick to the wall of the hotel. 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 sees Tenko up on the wall, and so in order to get back in the mix, she decides to activate her own super boots and climb up the adjacent wall. Now these two have decided to take the battle to the sky, right? So they like both leap off their respective walls with their super boots, and they rocket towards one another at high speed. They come head to head in midair, bro. Both of their katanas drawn back, and the moment they get within striking range of one another, they both slash their katanas downward, hoping to make out. Make out. Whoa, this nigga, I meant take out, bro. Make out is crazy. That's probably what Tenko weird ass one's being turned on right now, but no. They both slash their katana. Damn, I ruined the whole like let's redo that shit, bro. They come head to head in midair, bro. Both of their katanas drawn back, and the moment they get within striking range of one another, they both slash their katanas downward, hoping to take out the opposite woman. The two Mujina land on opposite sides of the room, both seemingly uninjured. 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠 turns around to look at Tenko, but upon doing so, her body suddenly buckles over and she falls to the ground. Turns out Tenko actually got the best of 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠, and so now 𝙏𝙧𝙡 has like this big ass gash right in her torso, like this big ass pizza slice cut out of her side. But on top of that, Tenko actually managed to slice through the manager's dome on her follow through. And so now, not only has she incapacitated 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠, she's also completed her mission of killing the manager as well. Tenko turns back to look at 𝙏𝙧𝙡𝙠, right? And I'm not gonna lie, she starts doing some weird, freaky power play type shit, bro. She's like, go ahead and beg for your life, and if you do, I'll make your death quick. 𝙏𝙧𝙡 hears this and she just stays silent. And not only does she stay silent, she's looking up at Tenko and she's like smirking a little bit. Tenko's looking back down at her and she's like, yo, like, the fuck is you smiling about? Like it's really up for you. 𝙏𝙧𝙡 keeps smiling. Now Tenko's annoyed, bro. She's confused and she's like, oh hell nah, bro. Like, Granny over here is about weird as hell. Like, this shit isn't even hot anymore, bro. I'm out here. And then, yeah, since she can't get her rocks off via murder, she kind of just leaves the scene. 𝙏𝙧𝙡, on the other hand, she's struggling, bro. Like, Tenko really got her good, and so she's on the ground right now and she's struggling to keep it together and she's bleeding out. The little girl goes to check on her. She's like, hey, like, are you good? And 𝙏𝙧𝙡 hands her this business card. She's like, I need you to take me here. And then she like gives the little girl advice. She's like, you should also get out of here too, by the way. Like, it won't be long until 12 is on the scene. I guess she's assuming the little girl is like a Mujina, probably, which she low-key kind of is now, since, you know, the dude, the trafficker stole her rights card. 𝙏𝙧𝙡 and the little girl proceed to escape through the window, and like, they bring the rock star along with them, which personally, I would have just let 12 get his ass, but it turns out they only bought him along so that they could basically extort him into getting them a taxi, since, you know, neither of them have rights cards at the moment. But we cut back to 𝙏𝙧𝙡, right? And he's like finally waking up after having passed out earlier in the day. Turns out, since 𝙏𝙧𝙡 has like barely anybody in his life that he can turn to at the moment, he had the escort parlor that he bought cheeks at last night listed as his emergency contact, which, I'm not gonna lie, bro, that is some down badass shit right there, bro. Like, that is really crazy when you think about it, bro. And the guys who run the parlor are like, hey, bro, you know, we got you. You're good. But we ran some tests on you, you know, to see if you were sick, and you tested positive for COVID. Yes, they actually say COVID, or re-COVID rather, but they're like, yeah, anyway, since you have COVID, we gotta contact central management and, you know, get you to a hospital and get that dealt with. Now, what exactly central management refers to in this story, it's a bit of a mystery at this point. Granted, we're still early in the story. From what I can gather, at least, central management seems to be like this sort of government conglomerate. Like, it's this kind of consolidated super government that controls everything from healthcare to the police force to human rights cards, basically everything. So typical evil cyberpunk shit. Anyway, he doesn't want to report to central management because, you know, he still has the deadlines for his game and whatnot, and he doesn't want to have to take off from work. And so long story short, the parlor dudes end up taking him to like this back alley doctor that's not connected to the system. And yeah, goes there hoping to get some treatment for his COVID off the books. Now peep this, bro. The back alley doctor that they took to just so happens to be the same doctor that 𝙏𝙖𝙡 told the girl to take her to. Now 𝙏𝙏𝙡, she's still on edge and she's not taking any chances, right? Like, she thinks someone might still be after her and the kid, and so she springs into action, bro, and she points her katana at 𝙏𝙡's jugular. Now my boy nigga, my nigga is just a game developer, bro. He's not about that assassin life, and so he's just standing there frozen in fear like, bro, what the hell? But luckily for him, at this moment the doctor walks in and he's like, oh hell nah, bro, like, y'all gotta leave all that violent mujina shit outside. The doctor looks over at the dude who bought 𝙏𝙡, and it's like this teenage kid named 𝙏𝙖𝙡. I don't know who let a teenage boy work at an escort parlor, by the way, but yeah, the doctor's like, let me guess, another one of the escorts got an STD? And 𝙏𝙖𝙡's like, nah bro, not this time. I just need you to hook my mans over here up with like a booster shot and some corona tablets. The doc's like, all right, booster shot, corona tabs, I can get you right for like a band. And then he looks over at 𝙏𝙏𝙡 and the girl and he's like, yeah, y'all gotta leave, by the way. Like, I can't just have a mujina hanging around my office. Turns around when he hears this and he looks at 𝙏𝙏𝙡. He's like, you're a mujina? And yeah, long story short, decides that he'll take in 𝙏𝙏𝙡 and the little girl for the night, since at the moment they really don't have anywhere else to go. 𝙏𝙏𝙡, you know? We cut to 𝙏𝙡's place though. Like, him and 𝙏𝙏𝙡 are sitting in the living room chilling. The little girl's knocked out after what was a long and probably very traumatic day for her, but now that she's asleep, it's time for the adults in the room to have a chat. Looks at 𝙏𝙏𝙡 and he's like, so like, what's y'all deal anyway? Like, is this girl your sister or something? And 𝙏𝙏𝙡's like, nah, I don't even think she's a mujina. Like, I just met her today, if I'm being honest. I really don't know her like that. And then 𝙏𝙏𝙡 looks around. She's like, nice place you got here. And 𝙏𝙡's like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's actually not mine. 𝙏𝙏𝙡 hears this and she's confused. She's like, it's not yours? And 𝙏𝙡's like, yeah, I actually inherited this place from my colleague. He died 6 years ago. And then turns to look at 𝙏𝙏𝙡. He's like, well, he didn't just die, he was killed by a mujina. There's a tense silence, and then speaks up again. He's like, I think you might know something regarding his death. We cut to the next day and we're back in Tenko's POV, right? Now Tenko, she's back on her bullshit, bro. Like, she's back on assassin duty, and so we see this dude that she was sent to assassinate, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bad for bro, because he's literally just like this random run-of-the-mill normal average office worker looking dude. Actually, I don't even think he's a salaryman, bro. I think he's a CEO, because bro is low-key stacked crazy, bro. He drops this big ass briefcase in front of Tenko and he's like, look bro, I don't know who sent you to kill me, but I got 130 bands in this briefcase right now, so how about you take that money and you go kill whoever sent you. Consider this a job. Unfortunately for Mr. Rax over here though, Tenko isn't in the assassin game for the money. She's in it for the love of the game, and so she's like, yeah, nah, I don't really care about your money. I really just want to kill you right now, if I'm being honest. Now, Mr. Rax hears this and he can tell, bruh. He can tell that Tenko is not the one to play around with, and so he decides to try a different approach, bro. My guy falls to his knees, bro. He kowtows himself before Tenko and he just starts begging, bro. He's like, please, bro, please don't kill me, bro. Like, I just had a kid last month. But like, yeah, so remember how we discussed Tenko's, preferences when it comes to violence and power play and all that type of stuff? Yeah, so Tenko sees this man begging for his life, and it kind of just has the reverse effect from what he was going for, because now Tenko is just more turned on at the prospect of killing him. Tenko proceeds to chop bro's head off, and she like leaves him in a ditch or like a little back alley, and like, yeah, rest in peace to Mr. Rax. But if anyone finds a briefcase filled with 130 racks and there's a joke there. There is a joke there to be made. My brain's just not making it right now. We cut back to 𝙏𝙡's crib, right? And the kid from yesterday, the team, the one that works at the escort parlor, 𝙏𝙖𝙡, it's his day off, and so he decided to use his free time to like come check in on 𝙏𝙡. or so he claims. I'm pretty sure he low-key just wanted to spit game at the girl from yesterday because, like, you know, they seem to be around the same age, 15, 16, but yeah. We also learned that this girl's name is Juno, and so, you know, we can finally stop calling her just the girl, like we actually have a name for her now. But 𝙏 and 𝙏𝙖 are talking to Juno, and 𝙏 is like, all right, bro, like, what's your deal, Juno? Like, are you a mujina as well? And Juno's like, no, I'm not a mujina, but those dudes from yesterday stole my rights card and my phone, and so, like, yeah. 𝙏 is like, oh my fucking god, bro, like, are you serious right now? And I kind of feel bad for 𝙏, bro, because stuff just keeps getting more and more stressful for 𝙏. But long story short, he basically sends 𝙏𝙖 to go shopping with Juno so that, you know, Juno can at least have her bare necessities like clothes and whatnot. So Juno and my boy 𝙏𝙖, I'm gonna call him 𝙏𝙖 from now on, since, you know, I don't really feel like saying 𝙏𝙖 every time, but Juno and the homie 𝙏𝙖 are going shopping for clothes, and like Juno is giving him the rundown on what happened to her. Now 𝙏𝙖 is hearing Juno go on about her story, and he's like, bro, you almost got trafficked, like as a minor at that. Like, you are lucky to be unscathed right now. And Juno's like, yeah, I guess, but at least I'm with 𝙏𝙧 now. And 𝙏𝙖, you know, he's confused, bro. He's like, are you sure? Like, 𝙏𝙧 is still basically a stranger to you. And Juno's like, yeah, I'm sure. I can tell that 𝙏𝙧 isn't a bad person. Now, I'm not trying to be that guy, right? Like, I feel like my hatred has been low this video, bro. I'm not on my hater shit today, but based on the fact that Juno is in this situation, I don't know if I trust her discernment on who is and isn't a good person, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, I think 𝙏𝙧 is a good person, but this the same girl that got, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, bro. And 𝙏𝙖, he sees what I'm saying too. Like, he's still doubtful about 𝙏𝙧 and suspicious of Juno, rightfully so, to be fair, but he decides to change the topic. He's like, so why did you even decide to run away from home in the first place? Like, what compelled you to do something so drastic? Juno hears this and she pulls him to the side, right? Like, she pulls him into this corner where they won't be seen, and she's like, 𝙏𝙖, look. 𝙏𝙖 looks down and he sees like this burn mark that Juno has on like her sternum chest area. So basically, right, and this is kind of like the Juno backstory, but Juno was getting severely bullied back in her hometown, like bullied to the point where she had literally gotten burned by the bullies. And so, like, long story short, she had made the decision to run away to Tokyo in hopes that she could run her stacks up, and then after she got enough money, she planned to hire a mujina to basically get her get back on the bullies. So yeah, this girl is definitely in need of help, I'll say that much, but at least she seems to recognize that she's not all the way okay, right? Because she looks at the homie 𝙏𝙖 and she's like, yeah, I'm f***ed up, we got a problem. And 𝙏𝙖, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I think 𝙏𝙖 is starting to fall for the crazy girl riz, bro, because like this right here is most definitely the face of a boy who's catching feelings, bro. And I mean, like, I'm glad for him, you know, shout out 𝙏𝙖, but like at the same time, I don't know, bro. I just feel like, look, all I'm gonna say is I've been in 𝙏𝙖's damn near exact same position before, back when I was his age, and I'm not gonna lie, that shit did not end well. Shout out 𝙏𝙖 though, you know, I'm gonna let him cook, I'm not gonna hate, I'm gonna let him do what he gotta do, you know. Shout out 𝙏𝙖, shout out Juno, shout out liking the video. How about we shout out liking the video for once? We cut back to 𝙏's crib, and like him and 𝙏𝙧 are starting to become more acclimated with one another. The vibes are still a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie, but I respect 𝙏, bruh. And here's why I respect 𝙏. I respect 𝙏 because not only did he open his home to this mujina woman and this little kid, knowing damn well he doesn't rock with mujina or kids, he's also at least trying to put forth the effort to understand 𝙏𝙧 as a person, and like, even despite his personal biases, I just think it's respectable, bro. And I feel like we need more people like 𝙏 on this planet. But anyway, Juno and 𝙏𝙖 finally come home after a long day of shopping, and like, I'm not gonna lie, they bought the vibes with them, bro. Like, they really lightened the whole mood when they walked into the room compared to these two depressed ass adults just sitting in here being awkward. Come to find out, Juno actually bought some new drip for 𝙏𝙧 while she was at the store, and like, alright, I'm not even gonna hold you, the first fit she got, that shit was kind of ass, but I gotta give credit where credit is due, bro, because the second fit that she got my girl 𝙏𝙧, I'm not gonna lie, that fit was low-key like that, bro. Like, she low-key had my girl 𝙏𝙧 looking fresh out here with the new drip. It's actually crazy too when you really think about it, bro, because like, I know 𝙏𝙧 never had drip like that before, bro. Like, this is low-key probably her coldest fit when you really think about it, because like, 𝙏𝙧 is a mujina, bro. Like, she probably wasn't allowed to shop anywhere except, I don't know, goddamn Timu, bro. But yeah, all that aside, I will say that I am starting to enjoy like the sort of found family dynamic that this household is developing. I've always had something for the ragtag found family sort of trope, and I just feel like for some reason the writer of this story is doing a really good job in developing that sort of dynamic with these characters. And so yeah, I'm rocking with it so far, bro. I'm rocking with Mujina Into the Deep. I think the found family especially shines through with Juno and 𝙏𝙖𝙡, bro. Like I feel like these two have low-key trauma bonded, bro, because like we cut to that night and the two of them are just sleeping on the same bed on like, you know, some sisterly shit. And like, yeah, bro, it's just, you know, something sweet, some sweet moments, a little bit of wholesomeness in the midst of all the we cut to a flashback of 𝙏𝙏𝙡's past. Or maybe it's a dream, but in this flashback, we see 𝙏𝙏𝙡 wearing a schoolgirl uniform. She has blood splattered all over her body and she's like staring at something. Staring back at 𝙏𝙏𝙡 is this mysterious figure dressed in a raccoon suit. The figure has even more blood splattered across his suit than 𝙏𝙏𝙡 had on hers, and he's giving 𝙏𝙏𝙡 like this innocent but unsettling wave. We zoom out to see where both of them are standing, and both 𝙏𝙏𝙡 and the raccoon are standing in an alley littered with dozens upon dozens of bloody, slaughtered corpses.